Hello and welcome to this Australian College video on how to install Ubuntu desktop onto Oracle VirtualBox. During this installation we'll have a look at how to install and set up Ubuntu so it sits on your virtual machine. Now, to start off with, you're actually going to need to download Ubuntu. If you go to ubuntu.com, okay, over on the right hand side you actually have the download area and you can choose desktop. Now, I tend to choose the one for extended support. It tends to be a more stable release rather than the latest and greatest. Please note that if you're using Windows 8, okay, or you purchased your machine the last 12 months, you're probably going to use the 64-bit of the two. I'm using the 32-bit. Now, simply click on the download, go through the various screens, and you'll actually download the ISO. Once you've done so, and I've already done that previously, come back into your VirtualBox. Now, under VirtualBox, we're going to choose a new machine. You'll notice that it defaults to Microsoft Windows XP, but if you start to type in Ubuntu, you'll notice that it actually will update. So I'll actually read the name and simply just put your name after that. Click on next. Now, memory will run on as small as 512. I tend to give it double that just to make life a little bit easier. You can even go a lot higher than that depending on how much you have available on your machine. For this purpose of this demonstration, I'll probably go to 2 gig of memory. Clicking on next, let it create the virtual hard drive. Just simply choose the default options on these. Now, 8 gig of hard disk space, that's all that's required. Okay, and I'm going to create the machine. As you can see, it's now been created. Now, before you go further, a couple of things that need to happen is you need to go into your settings. We're going to set some general information up here in our settings. So, just have a look at this. Okay, I want you to go first to the storage tab. Okay, you'll notice that the CD area is actually empty. I want you to click on that. You'll then notice this screen over here has changed. Click on Live CD and you can then choose a virtual CD or DVD disk file. Mine's stored in my downloads folder, so I'm going to go to the downloads area. Here's the desktop version that I'm going to install. Click, okay, and you'll notice now that it's sitting there. One last thing, come back to the systems area and please take the tick out of floppy drive. Okay, that way it'll boot from CD first. Click on apply and we're back to our main screen. Now, in our main screen here, okay, simply click on start. Okay, don't worry about the generic information that may pop up. It's up to you whether you let them on or turn them off. Okay, but you'll see that at the back area here, Ubuntu is already starting to load. So it's actually picked up your virtual CD drive and it will start to install from that. Okay, so we're going to installing Ubuntu version 12.04 today. Might just maximize that so you can actually just concentrate on the actual screen itself. Now, as you go through the install, don't worry, Ubuntu tends to pop up a whole range of different messages on the screen. This is actually quite normal for Ubuntu. Okay, I know that little messages appearing in screens and other installs of other operating systems can be a cause for worry. In Ubuntu and most Linux installs, they're actually more of an informational type role, and you can safely read them. As you can see, a whole range of area or icons are actually appearing that are used within the desktop itself. Now, one of the fun things with Ubuntu is it actually allows you a little preview mode, if you, as it were. You can try Ubuntu without even actually installing it. It'll actually just create a simple virtual folder, install a couple of features of the operating system. You're going to have a quick feel and play around in that virtual environment. We're actually going to go through and do the full install. Please choose the language that you're most comfortable with. Mine is English, as you can tell, and we'll go through the install of Ubuntu. Now, best results, 4 gig I'm on my laptop, but I've still got plenty of battery charge, so I'm perfectly fine, and connection to the internet. You can download updates and install third-party software. Look, for the purposes of this exercise, I'm not going to do so. I'm actually going to do that after the install has happened. We'll click on continue, and we're going to erase the disk. Okay, install. There's something else is you can actually resize partitions, things like that. Now, if you actually want to run Ubuntu not on a virtual environment but on your actual machine, you can actually do this and actually repartition your drive. Just be careful about doing that, because while I have done it quite successfully with Windows XP and Windows 7, Windows 8 does not like this to happen, and you'll have a lot of problems the 2 times I tried with Windows 8. On neither occasion has it actually enjoyed doing so. We'll just click on continue, and as you can see, it's going to use the entire disk space. Okay. Now it's going to go through the installation process. The first part is that it will partition your drive. It will then start copying files across from the ISO that you've downloaded from ubuntu.com. It's picked up where I am in the world, which is in Sydney. It's going to ask me about my keyboard in a second. I'll just choose the generic here, and that's, apart from filling in the screen with your user details, that's about it. So please place your name there. Now for passwords, one of the interesting things is, as you choose your password, watch this area of the screen here, because notice how it picks up the minute I start to type a password in, it actually gives me a rating as to how good or poor that password is, which I think is a very useful feature. Now look, normally I'd have the required password to log in, it's the most secure, but for the purposes of this exercise I just want to get in there as quickly as possible. I'm just going to choose login automatically, and we will continue. Now as you can see, it is still copying files over. Okay, it'll copy them over. It will then install what is needed for this. One of the good things with this is that the files it copies over are only those that are actually needed. Unlike Windows, for example, even though you've chosen English as your language and you've chosen your keyboard type as a certain type, it will still download in the background all of the other languages, and it will still download in the background a whole range of different keyboard types in case you change your mind, which makes it very user friendly, I have to admit, but it does tend to drag out the installation a little bit. Okay, now one of the things, there's a whole range of informational screens that will actually appear as Ubuntu goes through. The Ubuntu Software Center has, as it says, a whole range of new applications. I've been using Ubuntu off and on for a number of years now. One of the joys that I've noticed is ever since the proliferation of tablets in the last 2 years or so, or 3 years, the amount of software being written for Android devices and as such for Linux devices has increased dramatically. Now I'm not going to say it's anywhere near the range you have on your Apple Store at this point in time. However, the sheer wealth that is available to a person who's been using Ubuntu for a while now is brilliant. It absolutely is brilliant. There's a whole range of different applications that will do a whole range of basically there's an application for whatever purpose you may want to have, and if not, you can always pop on to the Ubuntu user forums. I'll talk about them in a short while, and you can actually pop a request in there and say, hey listen, wouldn't it be great if someone created such and such. And I've actually seen that happening with some programs that have been developed for not only Ubuntu but also Google Nexus, for example. Now, having fun with your photos, one of the favourite programs that I have always enjoyed using is the GIMP image editor. If you would like an extremely powerful image editor, then the GIMP is the choice for you. And the price is absolutely brilliant, as it's totally free. It's been developed under a general user license and it's free to use. Absolutely brilliant idea, and a fantastic and very, very intensive graphics program. The other thing Ubuntu has kept up with its rivals, it has its own online storage. You get 5 gig of cloud storage, so that allows you to store photos, files, music, have music streams if you'd like. Look very similar to SkyDrive and Dropbox, but a brilliant little feature. Now, as you can see, it's retrieving various files and going through the installation process. While that's happening, just have let's have a quick look at the Ubuntu forum. Now, the ubuntuforums.org, so Ubuntu forums, one word, .org, absolutely brilliant place to come to if you are not used to working in Ubuntu. And after you've seen Ubuntu in action, you may actually want to start using it, particularly if you have older machinery. One of the good things of this is there's general support, but underneath this here, your absolute beginners section. Now, if you're an absolute noob when it comes to Ubuntu, feel free to post here. But before post, have a read at some of the articles. Absolutely, there's a wealth of knowledge and ideas here. And if you're just not sure about how one thing happens or the interrelationship between different parts of Ubuntu, okay, why you need to do X to get Y to happen on Ubuntu, pop in here and ask the question. There's a lot of brilliant people happy to help. General help is, as it says, a lot of general help topics and installations and upgrades. As we're going through an installation, that actually might assist you. But as you can see, there's a whole range of different, even wine. Okay, so let's go and have a look at and see how our installation is going. Okay, as you can see, it's downloading the various language packs at this point in time. One of the other good things is, yes, you can stay connected with Ubuntu. It has straightforward connections through to Twitter, Facebook, and also Identica, which is a brilliant program. For those of you who like to Facebook on a regular basis, okay, it's a very easy way to stay connected. So, browsing the web, one of the enjoyable features that always attract me to Ubuntu is that its default browser is Mozilla Firefox, and for those of you who are fans of Firefox, I'll need to say no more, but that's actually the default browser for Ubuntu. And yes, built-in Flash support, so you have no problems playing YouTube videos and things such as that. And speaking of that, if you are a more visual learner and you would prefer to learn Ubuntu, there's a whole range of very helpful videos on YouTube that will provide guidance and assistance, and a whole range of general information. Look very similar to this video. Lots of other users who like using Ubuntu have posted a whole range of very good information. Okay. For those of you who don't want to fork out to pay for Microsoft Office or can't afford to pay for Microsoft Office, particularly the Office Online subscriptions can be a little hefty these days, you have a built-in Office package. Okay, word processing, spreadsheet, and also a presentation package built into. Now, I've used all three products. I have to be honest, Microsoft Office is still the world leader in this area, and rightly so. Look, you have a huge conglomerate and throw lots of resources as against a free organisation that is dependent upon the contributions of its members across the world, but they are very robust programs. Okay. Customizing Ubuntu, this is one of the things that you are going to be doing a little bit later in your course. Look, it's really easy to customize the appearance of Ubuntu. One of the fantastic features of Ubuntu, it actually has the ability to actually divide your desktop into 4 quadrants or screens. And if you click on those 4 quadrants, it'll actually then maximize that particular quadrant. So imagine your screen divided into 4, click on any of the 4 squares, and that square will then maximize, and you can then work in that area. Then you can minimize it back down and go to work on stuff in another square. Absolutely fantastic idea. I actually have purchased a product called Fences for Windows to actually achieve a similar effect. And it's nowhere near as good as this built into Ubuntu. I wish it was, but I've actually had to pay for a commercial product in a Windows environment to get the same level. It's actually built naturally into Ubuntu. Now, as you can see, Ubuntu has its own support area from ubuntu.com. I tend to use the Ubuntu forums. Look, both areas are very good at providing a whole range of answers. The support here tends to be fairly generic support, so it's more about simply just how to install if a generic error occurs and things such as that, whereas Ubuntu forums tend to be able to stretch the boundaries a little bit. And you guys ask those, well hang on, what if I tried this, or what if I had go there, or if I want to have this running on, but I also want to have that feature as well type question, then Ubuntu forums. But look, you can also ask Ubuntu at any stage. So here we are, we've actually finished the installation. All that needs to happen is to restart. So simply come over here, click on the restart button. Okay. What's going to happen now? It's going to send a signal to shut down the machine. It will reboot, and then okay, I'll just hit the enter key. Okay, it's going to go through, and it's going to restart into Ubuntu. I hope you've enjoyed this video. The next video that I'll talk about will be the one on actually utilizing Ubuntu. So as you can see, literally just going through the restart right now. Okay, there's your Ubuntu loading screen. And as you can see, it's just starting to load the Ubuntu desktop. Here's the Ubuntu desktop, and you have your workplace. Okay. I actually was thinking of having a second video, but I might just run through some of the features of the Ubuntu desktop. One of the areas is workspace, as I took before. Remember, I was talking about having 4 screens to actually work on. If you click on one of the screens, it'll actually maximize. You can then come back over here, click back out. I can then double click on another screen. Okay, and makes it absolutely brilliant for dividing up your desktop and working. Okay, here's the home. Okay, which will actually show you what recent applications you have. Under here, okay, you have your system settings, and I've just popped up the settings. Some of the things you can play around with include the appearance. I'm actually clicking a little bit too quickly for my virtual machine at this point in time. But there's a whole range of things, including building backup, management, time and date, to play around with the appearance. Okay, you can change the wallpaper. I tend to like the birds, as you can see. And close it up here, and that's Ubuntu. I hope you've enjoyed this very short video from the Australian College on how to install Ubuntu on VirtualBox. Thank you.